Since June 2015, Zambia has experienced a power deficit due to poor rainfall, resulting in low water levels at its main hydropower generation station, the Kariba North Bank. Debate on possible solutions to the power deficit have been on for some time. One of the solutions under discussion is the use of solar energy. Today on News in Depth, Macpherson Mukuka finds out where the country is in the implementation of the solar mini-grid projects. I'm your host, Masauso Mukwayaya. Stay tuned.
For many years, Zambia's electric power industry has largely been dependent on water. The country's dependence on water power has come with consequences, and one of them is a power blackout. This has mainly been due to declining water levels in Lake Kariba, which is the country's major supplier of hydroelectricity. In the last few years, Zambia has experienced low rainfall, especially in the southern half of the country. With the generation of 1,080 megawatts, output for the sector has been estimated at 275 megawatts, which is less than one-third of the installed capacity. The electricity shortage has affected the country's economic activity a great deal. But for the past few years, government has been trying to change the country's overdependence on hydropower. The Rural Electrification Authority, REA, is implementing solar programs in some parts of the country. Their focus is mainly in places that are not connected to the ZESCO power grid. Initially, REA provided standalone solar home systems, mostly to chiefs' palaces and public facilities, such as health posts.
We moved away from that approach slightly into what we were calling the sustainable solar marketing packages, where a contractor establishes in a certain project, identified project area, and stayed there for 5 years to provide, first of all, a sales point and also backup in terms of technical advice for those people that are buying solar systems. Now, the third approach has been development of mini-grids, solar mini-grids.
The establishment of a 200 kilowatt solar mini off-grid in the Kafue National Park is underway. The project, which is being done under a public-private partnership, started in 2016.
What the Rural Electrification Authority has basically done is, in terms of investment, is into the civil structures and also the MV network and internal wiring. So the private sector will basically come here and now put in the components I mentioned, plus the solar panels that will be installed in this yard. That's what basically they will do, and also the billing. So they won't only restrict themselves to in terms of power generation for the community, they have also to be innovative in order to stimulate economic activities in this area, so that there is improvement in the income levels for them to be able to pay for the electricity services that will be provided. So basically that's what will be happening in this area.
So far, 3.3 million kwacha has been spent to set up a powerhouse, staff houses, and other civil structures at the Chunga Solar Mini Grid project site.
It has taken long because we've been implementing it in phases. The first phase was actually installation of the civil structures. Civil structures, I'm talking about the powerhouse, the housing units, and also the administrative block, because those are the key structures that will be used in terms of managing the project, the power generation, and also servicing the community in terms of power services. And now we've moved into the second phase. The second phase involves installation of the network that will be used now to transmit the power from the plant to the beneficiaries, and also internal wiring of the structures. Because we want a situation where once we start providing the electric services, all the housing units should be ready to accept the power services that will be provided. So the private sector now bringing in terms of the bidding structure. So we are yet to know how we is going to structure the bidding structure, so that people are able to pay for the services that will be provided.
A nearby community stands to benefit. This is Chunga, situated in the Kafue National Park, southwest of Mumba district. Here, the local school uses firewood to cook food for about 300 pupils. Firewood is the only dependable source of heat energy. Not having electricity has affected the school in many ways.
The only problem is that studying at night is expensive on our part because we are using engine to light up the studying area, which is the dining hall. But when we have this solar, it will be cheaper compared to using the genset. So our wish is, if that comes, it will make life easier for our children.
While the school management worries about lesson preparations, the pupils have to worry about their studies in the night.
We don't usually have that much time when studying. So even the torches, the batteries, it's not that here we don't have power, so we can't charge the torches. So the batteries are, they finish, so we don't have much time to study.
I think that government should look on in this environment and bring power as soon as they can, so that we can have better studying.
Not far away from Chunga Primary Boarding School is a health center, which has a catchment area of 800 people. Without electricity, storing vaccines and drugs is difficult. Catherine Nkata works here as a cleaner, but without a trained health provider, she offers the service.
Amafi otwali kwete otaraisa maraito alikwete obwafi because kai kuno bishiko turapokera maternity tupokera abarejite fironda so twareba no obwafi sana paguti tumone ba patients umrandu wa maraite ku study fair to study fair because wakwata mabox ochina polifair to study fair ku Mumbo hospital because kai kuno umurando wako wetata kwetsa maraiti so kuti tubombe fimbi tatukwanisha.
Just being an inpatient is something unpleasant, but it is more unpleasant to be in a treatment facility where one is using candlelight to bring into the world a new life.
Mavuto kuno mayamalaiti timasenzesa cheso chabe mtu akadwala mwabwera na tochi mbwera musanika paka mwafika ngati kumazuru. Ni mavuto yakulu maningi kunyamula kendo kuti unyamule kuja chifuka munjira uzapeza nyama vilimo vonse malayoni vonse vilimo. So ni vuto maningi kuti unyamuke aleso chabe mwabukinga motoka ya muntu amuletani ku kliniki na kweve kuno muzapeza ati ni kendo na tochi basanikira pa machani pa ma injection. Ndiye mavuto yamene yaliko kuno. Then futi kupika tipikira pa malasha na pankuni.
But that won't be for too long, because once complete, the 200 kilowatt grid will supply electricity to the local health center and other surrounding areas. The entire Chunga community is protected by the Department of National Parks and Wildlife. Moses Mlimo is Kafue National Park Principal Wildlife Police Officer and is looking forward to having access to electricity.
It is a project that is coming in the right area and right direction. I think we are all aware that we have a lot of activities that are taking place in the park where we generate revenue. So because of revenue generation, as a motivation part to the park staff, why not offer us such a facility so that we also benefit from REA like other places have benefited. So it's very important to actually have this project run into the park.
Currently, the department relies on a generator for electricity, and this comes with cost implications.
We are seeing this project to hugely benefit us in the sense that currently we are spending a lot on diesel, which is helping us run most of our computers and just general works on management. We spend a lot of diesel, close to 1,200 liters each month. So if this plant is actually put to life, that will mean we will cut down costs that that may be said to be ongoing at the moment.
For the management at Chunga Primary School and the Rural Health Center, the setting up of a solar off-grid will help improve services they are offering.
Even if the school is in the bush, we send pupils to places like Hillcrest. Last year we sent about 4 pupils there, and they're doing fine. So let's have power so that we see, we can say the sky is the limit for our children.
Apa amaraitso raise nchitunumbe yalanguka wino because kwaisa patients wakula papisha wino na pa internet twakula wino na fyonse fyengasa fyamaraitsi nishikwawa makumi nawe futwe romba sana utsa maraitsi ingesa because no muchitwakula sunga wino na fimbi fyonse twakula chita buno wino ama operation finshi fyonse twakula chita fyo buno wino kuno kwini so mlandu wano amalaitsi sasa turafiro kuchita fintu so turafaish.
The learners at the school and other end users are hoping the grid will be completed within the stipulated time frame.
Here at Chunga, people or pupils do not usually fail. We usually pass. We usually get high marks on exams. So we want government to bring power so that we can get better marks than those who got from last year.
We want power because we are pupils and we need to study. So we are kindly asking the government to give us power as soon as possible.
So yakabwera at least tingateko bwino kuti kiliniki kuyaka malaiti at least mukafika kuno mpeza kuli malaiti. So government ipemba kuchabe balete first malaiti kuno so that winango muzakapeza ati adiwa na nyama bwera kupapa.
400 community members are set to benefit from the electricity supply from the project once complete. That aside, the solar mini-grid in Mpanta in Zambia district is fully operational. 6 years ago, Mpanta community had no electricity. But today, a 60-kilowatt solar off-grid plant stands erect, providing electricity to thousands of people of Mpanta. And Mpanta Solar Mini-Grid Project Coordinator, Ponkumbula, says the grid supplies power to 450 households, including grass-thatched houses at a radius of 3 kilometers.
You know, households like grass-thatched houses, you know, being connected under our project. Even iron-roofed houses, and also the schools, commercial facilities, the clinic, and also the general populace of this community are part of the beneficiaries. And if you look at on the side of the clinic, I think the impact is quite huge. The clinic itself saves about a population of 3,500. You know, there's issues of maternal cases, issues of access of important vaccine for the children. So without electricity, because all these require important equipment like the fridge and also the same machine that aids in the delivery of a child, okay, and also the lighting itself.
RIA says it remains resolute to increasing electricity supply to rural communities.
We are talking about the discussion is around the electricity crisis that we have currently, and we are looking at alternative renewable sources of energy, and solar is such an alternative source of energy. So we are here to indicate to the discussion that is going on that apart from what is happening, I know recently Cabinet approved what they are calling the off-grid, the national off-grid solar energy program. And this fits in line with government proposals in terms of upscaling solar as an alternative.
James Mukupo, a businessman, acknowledges the huge difference the supply of electricity has brought to the area.
Twaleshupikwa Philippines na fridge na TV tatwale tambawe kanzi tupali futile umfi mbalo batretla kwa malaiti na finfia yanguka Philippines kwa tutile fwa ifuchera kale na ifuchiri nomba fyali pusana kaito wale shupanga bushiku ifindu fingi tafyali sango sana kuma things twaisala twaenuka nombe fi kwa malaiti angun 24 tutile fwa ilapo kuenuka ipitwaila kanzi mlebuta
Mpanta Primary School is one of the facilities that has benefited from the local solar grid. The school head teacher, Wale Walia, boasts of decent life, adding that the school commands high teacher retention.
I could receive 3 transfer letters teachers trying to move from this school. I could go plead to the devs so that they could maintain those teachers. But the teachers, they could pressurize. But nowadays, they have fridges at home, TV at home, and some they have even the computers at home, which means they have access to power. Since they have access to power, no longer trying to move away from this area. They've come to like the place. It used to be a rural school. Now it's an urban school in a rural area.
The health facility is another beneficiary.
Ifa kuno bale tuseka na abantu balanda chimwalikala kumpanga fintu fyale tukosera nangu miberengeri abana ku maskulu tabale birenga twale bonfya wa malaiti na paraffin eyo twale bonfya kubika mtu todi icho kwa nta chawo ememwanjini chale moneka kwa chilimbi twalishalira sana kuno kumyesu ile tetwa kweta malaiti
awe twalitashao pakutwetea kwa malaiti au chena chitu chisuma sana pantu akaleta kwa lia malaiti twaleshupikwa sana inonchita mayandana tukwate fya kubomfye fingi mlandu wa malaiti yene.
To enable the community access electricity easily, management at the Kaficha Cooperative operated solar off-grid plant has devised flexible and affordable payment plans to suit the needs of the community. A bidding plan is based on the Energy Regulation Board ERB's principle of ability to pay. This is rated based on the number of bedrooms a house has or the size or number of shops an individual has.
About 70% of the community have 3 to 4 roomed households. So these they pay 30 and 35 kwacha respectively. And we also have another residential tariff which also covers those households that have in the ranges between 5 to 7 rooms. Okay, so 5 rooms they pay 60, 6 rooms they pay 65, then 7 rooms going upwards they pay 70. That's the highest that they can pay. So these are fixed monthly tariffs. Then we have customers like the public facilities like the teachers and also other clinics, clinic staff houses. Them they pay 100 kwacha as a fixed a monthly tariff. Yeah, then we have commercial users, them they pay between 60 to 70 kwacha, depending on the number of rooms the shop they have. 1 room shop is 60, 2 room shop 65, 3 is 70.
Despite what some may term flexible and affordable bills ranging from 30 kwacha to 100 kwacha, some institutions still find it difficult to pay.
Due to economic challenges, sometimes we fail, but we go talk to them and they bear with us and then they give us a period so that we could do the payments. And actually it is very cumbersome to them because they move up and down and the area is vast. So it could be, if at all there could be any modification so that the guys could rest. And some of the people they meet, you see, we differ in the way we accept things.
However, for the business community, having electricity within reach is an added advantage. Mukupo feels things will never be the same again.
tuleshupa no milipilile kutafi ngaya kumana mamfu tuyaripila takwa no kutshupa nisafe tulefo kupela malaiti yake ni kwibatupa nangu fidia tibashimia 16 fidia ngakwa bafya ba emergency kuba fya tosheni kwa malaiti ngakutupa batupa takuli ne vya kutshupa aho.
The solar plant makes about 9,000 kwacha in revenue collection per month. Just like any other institution, this one too has got its own difficulties in collecting payments.
When we started this project, of course we overlooked one component, which is the prepaid metering system. Yeah, only because at that time there was no policy. Because the initial planning of this project started way back in 2012. Yeah, so at that time there was no policy on even ZESCO. They didn't have prepaid metering system. So we actually rely on physical collections. Okay, so if you look at the challenges that may exist in that, so the discipline, it's just lack of discipline in terms of customers able to pay. But if you look at the affordability, these tariffs, they are very affordable for a minimum resident here in Panta. So basically speaking, it's just the collection model that we have in place. If we would have improved on the collection model, I think affordability issues are very minimal.
Okay, so how do you collect the monies?
So collection of the income, we usually rely on door-to-door collections and also just customers coming to our offices here. Yeah.
The community here is somehow lucky because electricity is not disconnected from their houses, even when they have not paid for it. Load management hours are also flexible. The community can ask for an adjustment.
Those people, they're struggling with their road shedding. But here, we don't experience it. There, they would say, the power's gone, and they don't even know the one who was taking it. But here, when they here it is timetabled. And the guys here, they are very strict with the timetable. So, which means whenever we are trying to make any schedule here, we just look at the timetable, and we try to comply to that. Which means the conductivity of the activities here, we never miss. And whenever we have, when we are trying to conduct these activities, if at all, it's beyond the timetable, we just negotiate with the guys and explain to them how important the activity is. And they try to exercise the lenience on us.
Even when a facility like this one benefits all, there are always those that think of vandalizing the same thing that benefits them. The Kafita Cooperative has formed a neighborhood committee watch to stamp out vandalism.
Awa patu alikwata kulolekeshako kuli ifintu nga twamona ati umuntu aleona ulefi twabika po action yaku batwala ku milandu ku kile kya milandu bagabati walefundwako.
The solar mini grid program is the third approach after the mini hydro and solar home system packages RIA is undertaking to electrify rural areas. With Zambia facing a power deficit, RIA is enthusiastic about replicating the project to other areas.
Our decision as management is now to focus on mini solar projects that we are going to roll out wherever possible. So our intention is to replicate this in as many areas as possible, apart from the Lunga that we already are doing. We are doing civil works in Lunga, the Chunga where we've completed the civil works, and also Chishi Island, which is coming on board soon. So basically, we're looking at scaling up this technology to complement hydro power that is generated by ZESCO.
With Zambia facing a power deficit, many are hoping that investments into alternative sources of energy will be prioritized.
Here is where we come to the end of this week's edition of News in Depth, where Macpherson Mukuka has been looking at the implementation of the solar mini-grid projects. Thank you so much for watching. Join us next week for yet another interesting documentary. I have been your host, Masauso Mukwayaya. Pleasant viewing.